How about Monty's meanderings, where she just meanders about something?
Monty?
What am I doing here?
It's a new segment of our show called Monty's meanderings.
Meandering.
So think about that.
What is meandering?
Meandering is like, have you ever been shopping
Just.
and you have no purpose?
Just.
And you go aisle to aisle to aisle, and you're like, ooh, that looks good. Ooh, this looks good. And you just keep going.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Wandering.
Okay.
I do that all the time.
You asked Monty if she's ever been shopping? That's like that's not even a rhetorical question.
Do it all day.
Yeah, except it would sound exceptionally chauvinist to go like, Monty, you're a woman. You go shopping all the time, right?
Yeah. Ladies be shopping.
I be shopping all day.
I do. I actually really enjoy grocery shopping. Not a poorly kept secret. That's one of my favorite pastimes. But I also
meander through the aisles.
Right. So the idea, I'm actually a little bit more focused. Like I know what I want, and I have it. Like I have a whole strategy of what I get when I get it. And I go aisle, 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 skip the aisle, 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 aisle. You know, I do the same thing with when I go to a gas station. Now, obviously, my main vehicle at home is electric, so I don't have to do that. But when I don't, like. I actually, does anybody else do this where I try and act like it's a pit stop and see how fast I can fill up the tank?
Yes.
I always like, if I have a rental car and like one of my kids is with me, I'm like, time me. They're like, what? Time me. See how fast I can do this. Like, why is that important? Like, I don't know, because it is. Anyway, Monty's meanderings, and I'm just flushing out here. We should do this outside of the show, but that's okay. It's better this way. Is Jay Stu, tell me what you're thinking. Like, she just goes to all of her different thoughts, and they can be movies, they can be music, they can be basketball, football, soccer, wrestling, anything you want.
Yeah.
And we just kind of put it all together, and it's Monty's meanderings.
It's, meandering is basically just taking a winding course to things. So you just don't get right to the point, and it's basically what Iowa Sam does on the air every day on Fox Sports Radio.
I get to the point eventually, but
But his name doesn't start with an M, so it would be Monty's meanderings.
Yeah.
By Sam.
You're in Wisconsin, Doug. A lot of meandering creeks and rivers and streams.
Sure.
That's kind of, I think of the word meandering. I think of like rivers meandering around bends, and yeah.
I think of meandering as when you're at a party and you don't really know anybody at the party, and you just kind of walk around and you do the lap around the room. And you're trying to not make eye contact with anybody because you get pulled into a conversation. You don't know who that person is. And you want to go like, hey, man, how are you, dude? So you're just kind of meandering and weave.
Yep.
Get your beverage, sort of meander back, standoffish. Oh, I know somebody. Now I'm going in and I'm having a conversation.
Yeah, it's just, doing something in a rudderless way,
Rudderless way is really good. I like that. So I saw this story, and I wanted to discuss with you guys. LeBron James picked up his player option to remain with the Lakers, but it represents a calculated decision that did not come without considering a move elsewhere, according to John Hollinger of The Athletic. In fact, there were whispers in the league circles about LeBron James having an eye for Dallas, Hollinger reports. But the four-time NBA champion was not willing to pass on a $52.6 million contract with the Lakers for a non-taxpayer mid-level exception to sign. In Dallas, James would have reunited with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, also having the opportunity to play alongside number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg. James expressed belief that Flagg will be amazing with the Mavericks. So, let's dive in here. I call bullcrap! Right? I mean, look, we do this in college basketball. It's like, I could have had this guy, could have had that guy, and I'm not taking this guy. It was never an option if you were going to opt in. Ever. Would LeBron James ever play for less than topped out? Would he ever play for less than $10 million or $15 million? Jay Stu, any chance?
No, that's not him.
Okay. Sam, any chance?
No.
Muncie, any chance you believe LeBron James would ever play? Let's just say, I don't even know what the mid-level exception is, less than $15 million.
No.
Okay, so it's not an option. It's not an option. Right? This is the guy going like, yeah, I could have taken her out. Like, she wouldn't have gone out with you. What are we even doing? There was whispers around league circles. Like, no, there weren't. And again, I'm not telling you that John Hollinger is full of it. I'm telling you the people that are calling John Hollinger go like, he thought about it. Here's the conversation of it. Rich, can I go play in Dallas? Like, yeah, but you have to play for the mid-level. Oh, hell no. Can we make it uncomfortable enough for the Lakers that they have to trade us? We could try. Right? We could try. There was a player who, again, I was just, during one of the breaks, I got a text from a guy who's helped me with a player who's from Belgium. I really liked him. I wanted to have him, but they were asking for way too much money. He ended up signing with another friend of mine, and I think it'll be really good there for less than half the money that he was asking for me. I can't sit here and go like, hey, he should be on my team. I should have him. At the time, he was working with a different agency, and they were asking for like 2-3x of what we wanted to pay him. So it's not really an option. It doesn't mean I don't think it's true that he'd prefer to play. He thinks that Kyrie and Anthony Davis, that's much more his jam, right? But it also proves what I've said time and again, which is, like, here's a dude who they hired a coach. And do I think JJ is a pretty good coach? I do. But do we think for 1 second JJ would have gotten the Lakers job had he not been doing a podcast with LeBron James? No, we don't. So you hired somebody that he respects, that he works with, that he likes, that's kind of a contemporary as the head coach. You draft his son. You've done everything in your power to make him and his people feel comfortable. And then you make a trade where everybody, and I feel like I'm the only voice of reason. Like, I don't think it was as pronounced slam dunk dominant trade for the Lakers as the world would let you to believe. But 99% of the people think the Lakers won that trade. Maybe even 100 think the Lakers won the trade. It's a question of how much did they win it by a point, or did they win it by 25? And yet LeBron James is like, yeah, I mean, he wants it out there. He'd rather play for the Mavericks than play for the Lakers. That's what he's saying. He's saying if all things were equal, he would rather play for the Mavericks. They're not equal, so he doesn't really. He's not willing to sacrifice to play for the Mavericks, but he'd rather play for the Mavericks than play for the Lakers.
Yet again, it seems like every single story that comes out of the Rich Paul camp is, we don't care about the Laker fans. I mean,
no.
The only reason I'm playing in front of you fans is for the money. I would much rather be somewhere else.
Yeah. Yep. And as we've said on this show, which is they should have jettisoned LeBron James a couple years ago. They didn't because, one, there was a value. They felt like there was value in having him break the all-time scoring mark in their uniform. But two, they were just all in on LeBron. Hey, this is where he's going to end his career. We're going to have his son here. We'll do whatever it takes to get the most out of LeBron. And the repayment is, hey, Luka gets the ball more than me. He gets to make decisions. I'd prefer to go do it somewhere else. No thought of every Laker fan buying a LeBron jersey, swallowing their pride as Kobe guys to buy a LeBron jersey. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Literally only staying in L.A. because he has to, because that's where he makes the most money. So I also think this is one of those stories that is it's kind of classic Rich Paul trying to create this. He'd rather be somewhere else. Is there a way in which we can get him traded? And that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that one. I don't think the answer is yes. But it wouldn't be crazy this late in his career. Remember, Jason Kidd was the assistant coach when they won a championship. Anthony Davis is also rep by LeBron by Rich Paul. And though he and Kyrie had a falling out, they fell back in, and there was talk of Kyrie coming to LA before he ultimately went to Dallas. But I love this post-mortem story of a contract that was agreed to 2 months ago. Hey, if it wasn't for $45 million or $40 million in difference for a guy who's worth $1 billion, he totally would have come play for the Dallas Mavericks. I actually think it looks bad on a bunch of fronts. It looks bad towards his relationship with the Lakers, towards his amount of respect for Laker fans and accepting him. And it even looks bad upon LeBron. Don't tell me you want to play for somebody. Don't tell me you want to play for championships, and then you're not willing to sacrifice $40 million when you're worth 30, 40x that. That doesn't make any sense.